articles and determinants, and prepositions also we need to do. Okay.
Ma'am, mid exams, ma'am, 26th.
Yes, from 26 onwards, first mid for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So before that, usually for, in English we try to give 3 units, but this time I don't know whether all the faculty will be able to finish the course. So we'll see how far it is. Anyways, but within a week we will let you know how much syllabus will you will get for your first mid. But anyways, let's not waste any more time, and try to finish as much as the syllabus possible. So let me just go back mm, to the notes. I'm going to share you some slides. 1 second, okay? So first topic is your determiners. Okay. Now, if you already have seen, those of you who have seen the syllabus, it comes under the grammar topic. It has articles, determiners, and prepositions. Now, articles and determiners together, they are one topic. Okay, together they are one topic because articles are type of determiners. Okay, they are type of determiners. So let me present my screen before you. Okay. Now, when we say determiner, determiner is a word used before a noun to indicate which things or people we are talking about. The words the, my, this, so many, etc. are called determiners. Okay. So you see the example here. He is a good boy, right? If I say he is good boy, then it's not a specific about the noun. We are not getting any other specific information, right? But when you are adding a determiner, we get specific information, right? So everywhere you see it is coming just before the noun. You see, I have information about the incident. If you say I have information about the incident, then we don't know how much information you have. But if you specify I have some information about the incident, then we know that you have some information, not all, right? Even if you can add I have all the information about the incident, all the is also a type of determiner. So basically determiner is a word used before a noun to indicate which type of things, how much of those things, how many of those things. Okay, something about the noun. Now there are different types of determiners. We have predeterminers which comes before a determiner. So suppose you have already a determiner, the or something like that, the or an, and before that you attach a predeterminer. Okay. Uh, but this is also a determiner only. We call it as predeterminer. We have articles, demonstratives, possessives, ordinals, cardinals, quantifiers, distributives, interrogatives. Okay. All of them are quite easy to comprehend or understand except the articles. Others, they don't have any rules. Mainly, they have the functions. Okay, articles have rules and functions both. There are specific articles for specific things. For some we use a, for some we use and, for some we use the. Okay, so all of these we are going to look. Now, predeterminers, and see this table. Don't worry about this particular site. I'm going to share this slide with you all. Okay, so every note, everything you will get, don't have to write anything now. Just listen to me and observe. Okay, so we have the predeterminers, and the list can go on. Okay, there are many predeterminers. You see, you take this fourth sentence, she stayed there all of the time. Okay, so time here is the noun, the is the determiner, all of is the predeterminer, right? So whenever you get something, you get two determiners together, then you have to make one the predeterminer, the other one the determiner. Then comes the articles. Articles are three in number. Okay, a, an, or the. A and an are same. They have the same rules, right? Only difference is that a is used before consonant sounds and an is used before vowel sounds. Sounds, not alphabets. Okay, so usually before a, E, I, O, U sounds. Now, why I'm telling you sounds? Because you have a word like honest, which start with H, but its pronunciation is O, like O. That's why we use an there. An honest man. Okay, so that is the only difference. You please, you can interrupt me wherever you are unable to understand. Okay, just interrupt me. I'll explain it to you again. So that is the only difference, okay, between a or an. But main thing we need to understand is between an and the. Okay, when to use a and when to use the. All the time I am not going to say a or an. Okay, a means it includes an also. So when we say a cow gives us milk, okay, usually a cow is a singular countable noun, okay, and represents a class or kind in general. And when we say a cow gives us milk, we don't have any previous information about this cow. So wherever we are getting nouns like that, there we will use a or an. Okay, whereas the is used for both countable and uncountable nouns. So for the, there are some rules, okay, when to use the. When we talk about something for the second time in the same context or anything qualified by a phrase, then we make use of the. So simply you understand this, that suppose if I say, I met Mohan, the boy is good. So here, the boy means Mohan. Already I have some information about Mohan. That's why in my second sentence I am making use of the boy, not again Mohan. I cannot use something like this if I mean to say Mohan is good. Suppose I say he is Mohan, he is he is Mohan. Then I of course I can say he is Mohan. He is a good boy. Okay, but a good boy is different because there a good boy means adjective. I'm talking about the adjective. So before the noun, if you want to use then it is not possible. If I want to repeat for the second time for the same matter, then I make use of the. In simple words, you have to keep in mind that whenever we use the, we have some sort of information about that particular noun. Okay, so for example, the book is on the table is mine. The book which is on the table is mine. The book, not all the table, but the book which I mean to, I have some knowledge about, that book. So that particular book is on the table is mine. It is also used before some superlatives. Okay. Uh, okay, now let me explain this part again to you with with an easier example. Like if you have visited the restaurant, a restaurant, and we say that how was the food there? How was the food there? Okay, so the food means that restaurant's food. So again, our food we don't use. Definitely one reason is that it's not countable. So whenever there is no countable thing, countable nouns, non-countable or uncountable nouns are there, always it is the. Remember that a is only for used for countable nouns, but the can be used for countable and uncountable nouns. The is used for countable nouns, which we have some earlier information about. Now, the is also before used before all the superlatives. like the tallest girl, the tallest girl. Whenever you have tallest, bravest, before that always you make use of the, not a. It is also used before the names of water bodies, rivers, seas, oceans. We say the Ganges, the Arabian Sea, the Pacific Ocean. But remember, there is a rule there. For lakes, we never use the. Okay, we never use the. There is an exception there. So these rules you can read up by your own, but I am just explaining you. Okay. After the class, you can again see these notes. Now, number four is it's used before the names of mountain ranges always, okay, but not before the names of peaks. So the Himalayas are they are the mountain ranges. That's it's made up of many mountains, and we call it as the Himalayas. But if it is a particular mount, a particular peak, for that we don't make use of any article. It's simply Mount Everest. It is also used before names of satellites, planets, and stars. It is also used before the names of monuments and memorials. It's used before the names of states, countries that have a common noun in their name. So, the Punjab, because Punjab means, uh, can anyone tell me what does Punjab means? What is the meaning of Punjab? Whose GK is good?
Five rivers.
Yes? Yes, tell me. Yes, you are there only.
Five rivers flows through.
Yeah, very good. Because five river passes through or goes through that particular land. That's why the name came Punjab. Okay, that's why we make say the Punjab, but we never say the West Bengal or the Telangana. Okay, these are for these because the USA, if we say the USA is made up of many states. Okay, that's why it's the USA. Then it is also used before the names of scriptures like your Ramayana, Quran, Guru Granth Sahib, Bible, etc. The Gita. It's also used before the names of magazines and newspapers. It's used before an adjective when the noun is understood. So, which simply means that when I say the poor means the poor means that entire community I'm talking about, not one person. But if I say a poor man always starves, then a particular poor man. Okay, so that is the difference. When proper noun used as common noun, that time also we make use of the. Now, for example, Mohan is the Einstein of our class. The Einstein, because Einstein is someone who is very intelligent and we use it for common noun, right? As a common noun. Same way for Shakespeare also we can use, for Gandhi also we can use. Like that, there are some proper nouns which are used as common nouns. For them, we make use of the. So these are the rules you need to follow when you are writing in your exam, because usually we set the question paper in a very tricky manner. We will give you fill in the blanks and we will give you options in between a or the. There you need to write, and often we get confused there. So read the entire sentence properly, then try to make out some sense and follow your intuition, instinct. You know the rules already, then you write the answer. Then we have the third type of determiners, which are your demonstratives. Now onwards, this is just the list. You need to just understand what are those and their functions. Okay, there is no confusion or rule sort of things. Demonstratives are your this, these, that, those. All of us knows about it. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss about it. Just you can see here, I like this school, or I like that school. Okay, if in the exam something like this come, I like dash school, this or that, both can be equally, uh, both can be equally the correct answer for them. Okay, so don't get confused there. If you see that both can happen, both can be the correct answer, then go for any one of them, because they don't have particular rules. Okay, but just you see that it's you are getting a meaningful sentence. This, that, these, those, we already know. This is the plural set, these and those of this and that. Then you have the possessives. Possessives are your my, our, your, his, her, its, their. They are all your determiners. Okay, they are used to show any type of possession, any type of possession. So, for example, he is my uncle, my uncle. You can also use he is your uncle, he is her uncle. That's why I said now onwards there should not be any confusion. Okay, but if you need to read the sentence, these are simple sentences, but you might get a sentence from there. Maybe you have to use only my or her, then only it will be sensible. So these are very simple things. Then ordinals are also determiners like first, second, next, last, etc. Cardinals are 1, 2, 3. Okay, in numbers 82, all of these are cardinals. They are also your determiners. They are always used before nouns. Before nouns means adjective is also a part of noun phrase. So before an adjective noun combination also they can come. Then you have the quantifiers. Here you need to be little bit careful. Okay, you have the quantifiers which tell you about the quantity of certain things or amount of certain things. Much, some, several, a lot of, both, all. These are your quantifiers, and examples are given here. Okay, then you have the distributives. Distributive determiners refer to each single member of a group. So whenever you have distributives means you have a group there, you have to make use of already for groups, always for groups distributives are used. So each is used when we talk about the members of a group individually. Always make sure that you have a group. For groups only distributives are used. When you want to mean one particular individual from a group, then it is each, right? If you mean all of them, then every you will use. If you want to use either, then you are talking about you have picked two people from the group, and one you are talking about either of you, either the two of the two of you. Either and neither are used for two, not for groups. Okay, each and every is used for group, each for all, for one at a time, and every for all. Either and neither are used when two people are there or two groups are there. Either means one of the two, or neither means none of the two. That's it. Then you have the interrogatives, which are your what, which, whose, etc. Now, interrogatives means your WH, sentences. In those sentences, you will get these questions. They are called the question markers. They are called the interrogatives. Okay, you can make use of them while writing your while making or framing sentences. So if in the exam you get a question a mark there, and you have there you have to choose between what, which, whose, etc. Okay, so this is all about your determiners. You have some exercises over there that you need to practice, okay, at home from this PPT. And also separately, I'm going to share with you these notes also. They are enough. With them, we have exercises and answers also. But try to practice the exercises. Then you move on to check for checking purpose. You move on to answer beforehand. You don't look for the answers. These are also some examples and exercises. So what you can do, you can read from the PPT. You can read from after going through the PPT, you can refer to these two and practice the exercises. So far, so good. Do you have any doubts in determiners? Please let me know. Yes or no? While reading, also, if you face any doubts, you can always ask me. No doubts? Okay, fine then. So, preposition is a bigger topic. What I will do in next week, we will cover preposition. With that, a smaller topic. Today, that will become an overdose, and preposition is a very crucial topic. So, I don't want it to do in this way. We'll freshly start with preposition only. That will be better. Instead, what I will do, we will finish word formation, another topic from vocabulary, a topic from vocabulary in unit 1. Remember, in unit 1 we have the horse and two goats, articles, determiners, prepositions, guided writing, and word formation. So we will look into word formation today, okay, which is a small topic. I'll explain you. Rest is up to you how much you are practicing. Okay, totally. Any type of vocabulary means you need to practice and build your vocabulary. Now, word formation processes. The word itself, it's quite clear from the name itself that it has something to do with the formation of the words. You know, like when we are concerned here with the English language, when the English language started, it started, any language whenever it starts with a very few basic words. Okay, very few basic words, and then through the passage of time, uh, if you start using that particular language more and more, then it becomes richer and richer. English is a language which is the richest language in terms of vocabulary, if you'll say. Because main thing is that definitely it is a language of England or Great Britain, you can say. And the English people had a lot of colonies, right? They explored the world like anything. They made colonies, and they spread their language as much as possible. They came to India also, and that's why we have English here so much. For any type of official purposes, we are making use of English. Okay. Not only that, it became an international language, right? It is the international language because so many countries use it extensively daily basis, right? Which of course means that lot of new words comes to the vocabulary, right? This is just for general information, right? I'm telling you so that it will be little more appealing to you. The actual word formation processes which you will be studying is little bit different from this particular thing, how words are formed. Here we are just I'm discussing how in general words are coming into the vocabulary, not word formation, how they come. So, I'm sure many of you know that some of the Indian words are there now in the English dictionary nowadays, like your tikka, paneer tikka, or whatever you call that. Tikka masala is very much in the English dictionary. You have vermilion, the sindoor, the Indian women wear sindoor, right? For that, English has a word that's because of Indian people using it. It's called vermilion, right? So, the same manner, you have many words like them, like especially food related as far as English words are concerned. There are so many words in their vocabulary. Dosa is there, curry is there. So those words are now called as English words. Means in English words, if you are making use of those words, nobody will say that what is the English of that. No, dosa is very well understood in English sentences also. That's how words came into the same manner. English has borrowed from other different languages also, like Portuguese, Japanese, Chinese, then Latin, your what else, Dutch, French language also, from French language also it has borrowed a lot. The same manner we also borrow a lot of words, right? Nowadays we say school, but school is basically an English word. But whenever we are talking in Telugu also we are saying school, whenever we are talking in Bengali also we are saying school. So this is how words are traveling from one vocabulary to other. Sometimes some entirely new words are coined. So it keeps on going, just keeps going on. We are concerned in this course about how words are formed. See, the chief process of word formation are is either through by using the base word as different parts of speech. One way of doing it is like that. Like for example, you have project can be a noun or a verb. If you are making use of project as an action word, then you say what is your project here, right? Or what are you trying to project, right? What are you trying to project? That will be a verb. Then if I'll ask you what is the title of your project, that project is a noun. So in this way the same word we can use for different parts of speech. That is one type of word formation. The next type of word formation is a process where a prefix or a suffix gets attached. Prefix and suffixes are together called as affixes. When you are attaching something at the beginning of a base word, that is called a prefix. When you are attaching something after the base word, that is called a suffix. So suppose if I am giving, suppose if I have the word comfort, I can make it discomfort by adding a prefix. I can make it comfortable. I can make it uncomfortable. I can make it comfortably also. So with one base word, I can make so many words. So if I give you a word like nation, you attach prefix, a suffix to it, and or just simply with nation, how many different words can you make? Tell me. With nation, how many if I give you the base word nation, how many different words can you make? Come on quickly, ECB. Yes, what happened to you? There are so many words with nation, right, as the base. Just attach something to nation and make different words. See that nation is there, and how many different words can you make? I gave you an already hint.
Imagination.
Yes, yes.
Imagination.
What? Nation means not that nation. I am telling you about our nation, India, nation. That is the base
Nationality.
word. I am not giving you the suffix. You have to add suffix to it. National, right? National, nationality, nationalism, anti-national, multinational. So many words you can make with the word nation. Isn't it? I'm not telling about the suffix nation. I gave you the base word nation. Similarly, how many different words you can make with the base word beauty? Yes, yes. Attach a suffix to beauty.
Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful, beautifully. Okay. So that's what is meant by word formation. Are you able to follow or not? You see here prefixes. Prefixes are used. They can change the meaning of a base word. What can be a base word? Like I gave you the word comfortable. Comfort is the base word. Comfort is the base word, right? But if you have to make it uncomfortable, then uncomfortable is the base word. You will attach sorry, comfortable will be the base word. You will attach un to it. So these are the prefix list. Prefix, remember that prefixes can change the meaning. If I say comfort, you and attach dish to it, it will become discomfort, right? It is changing the meaning. Then vegetarian, non-vegetarian, happy, unhappy, it's changing the meaning, right? In a negative manner. Similarly, prefixes of degree and size like extra, hyper, mini, semi, circle, semicircle, power, superpower. Prefixes of time and order: for, pre, post, ex, re, vice, principal, vice principal, post, repost. Okay. Then you have prefixes of attitude: co, counter, anti. Then you have number prefixes like uni, mono, multi, bi, poly. Then sometimes they also change for changing the parts of speech. Prefixes, remember, you will have a word, okay, any word. It can be a word with a suffix also. So that you will attach prefixes always comes before the base word. Suffixes will come after the base word. Suffixes changes the grammar of and the meaning of the word. Okay, both. So king, kingdom. Slave, slave, slavery. Slave is an adjective. Slavery will be a noun, right? Then India, Indian, Ian. Ian is a suffix. It is attaching after the base word. So you need to understand the difference between suffixes and prefixes. So there are different types of suffixes. Suffixes which changes noun to noun, suffixes which changes noun to adjective like China, Chinese. China is a noun, Chinese is an adjective. It can also change adjective to a noun, like happy is an adjective, happiness is a noun, right? So you have a whole lot of list here. Verb to noun, it can change both to verb and noun to adjective. Then, so this is all about your word formation processes. Now, quickly answer these questions. Okay. Here you need to attach only prefixes. Wrap, wrap. This is a word adding a prefix. Wrap. What will become? What will it become if you'll add a prefix? Yes,
Unwrap.
easy. Unwrap. Okay, unwrap. Use, use. What happened to you? Shall I call roll number wise? Roll number 79.
Yes, ma'am.
Use roll number 79.
Yes, ma'am.
Attach a prefix to use and make a word.
Unused.
Okay. Or misuse.
Yeah, misuse.
Okay. Now connect, connect,
Disconnect. Disconnect.
disconnect. Pronounce, prefix. Mispronounce. Understand.
Misunderstand.
Yes. Proper,
Improper.
Improper. Improper.
improper. So, like that, there is no word like unproper. That's why you need to know this. Okay. There is no way of doing it. Just you have to practice it as much as possible. Not all prefixes go with all words. There are specific prefixes which are supposed to be used. Suppose there is no word called de happy, we make use un there for for to mean not happy. Okay, so you need to be careful there. So let's do this one. Here you can make use of prefix or suffixes, anything, reading the sentence. This word is very difficult to spell, and even worse, it's dash. You can use a suffix or a prefix.
Pronounceable, ma'am.
Even worse, it's pronunciation. Pronunciation, right? He was acting in a very dash way.
Childish one.
Childish.
Way. Childish way. He was sitting dash in his seat on the train.
Comfortably.
Comfortably. Or uncomfortably also you can write. Because you can make use of any prefix or suffix. Then there was a dash light coming from the window. Green. How which suffix you can attach to make it a meaningful sentence?
Greenish.
Greenish light. Very good. Greenish light. Okay. Question number 11. The road was too narrow, so they had to dash it.
Widen.
Wider.
Widen it. Okay. Widen it. Then they had, question number 12, they had to dash the lion before they could catch it. Yes. Is this a tricky one? Tranquil. Okay.
Tranquilize.
Yes. Okay, you can use that also. See, one thing you need to keep in mind, suffixes doesn't mean that always al, full, all of that will be there. Even the past tense markers like ed, okay, or the s, all of this you can add there. Okay, there won't be any means it can be anything. So here just now we can see tranquilize has been given. Tranquilize, or else yes, your answer is right, or else you can make use of, where is the sentence, 1 second. Yes, they had to tranquilize. So sometimes you go by the intuition also. So you know the suffix list, you know the prefix list, so which one will be more apt. So sometimes you have to do that also, because it's not possible for all of us to remember all the words. But suffix and prefix list, which I will be giving you or sending you through notes, those are limited in number. Definitely you can memorize them, or you can have a stock of that. Okay, then, so here you can see some exercises are given there. If you are practicing this, then for the exam it will be better for you. Okay, so remember this much in word formation. Apart from this, we have another type of word formation that is called as compounding or compound words, which are quite easy to identify. Like there will be two words which will be joined together, right? Right, like school bus, pickpocket, okay, troubleshoot. All of these mini series is basically it's no, it's not a compound word, because mini is not of the same category of the second word. Remember just one thing, both will be parts of speeches. Okay, either noun or noun verb, or verb or noun adjective, like that there should be. Okay, so many is a prefix, we already know that. So with prefixes and suffixes you cannot form compound words. For compound words you need two words, not suffix and prefix. Okay, so that is all about your word formation. It is a comparatively uh, less complicated topic than others. That's why it's better to finish word formation, not because preposition will take a lot of time. So far, if any doubt is there, please ask me, or else, there are no doubts, I will take your attendance and then you can leave today's meeting. If you have any doubts, please ask me. No doubts? So I'm taking down the absentees list. So these are the absentees for today's class: 65, 96, 97, 98, 105, 107, and 109. Okay. Before leaving the meeting, please type your names and roll numbers in the chat box. See you in the next class.